There they are, the cherry blossoms. They're so beautiful, and you'll find them all over the city of Tokyo. In fact, you'll find them all over the country at different times during the month of March and April. But in this episode, I wanted to take a step back. There you go. This is the Sumida River in Tokyo. Everybody talks about when are the cherry blossoms going to start. Not that many people talk about when it's actually going to finish and how long these cherry blossoms last. So in this episode, I thought I would talk about this with you on a really wet and rainy day. How you doing, everybody? You can see even behind me, it's beautiful in this area. I was here just about 36 hours ago looking at the cherry blossoms at night, which is my favorite time to see them with a light. You can see the contrast with the dark sky and the white blossoms. It's truly beautiful. And this is a magical time to be in Japan. It seems like the entire world is here. Though if you walk around some of the tourist attractions, even the sky tree right now, if you look in the distance, you can only see half of it because it's engulfed in clouds. I don't think I can even zoom any. Can I? No. I'm gonna walk over here and the simple answer is this. The cherry blossoms start at the middle of March. Each area is different in Japan. So you can see, I brought this graph up quite a bit over the last couple of weeks. You can see you're never really gonna miss it if you come in the middle of March to the middle of April. You just gotta travel a little bit in order to catch them. It's weather, it's sunshine, it's rain, it's a lot of things are going to impact whether or not you're going to see them. Today we are, but not for very long. Now this year in Tokyo, they started to bloom around the 14th, according to the Japan Meteorological organization, I don't know what, but they are that's a little bit earlier. So the announcement means that they saw 6 or 7 blossoms on an indicator tree. There's 47 prefectures that have that tree, and the majority of those trees are a little bit earlier. So I would say it's about 2 to 3 days after that you start to see them. So I don't consider it starting until the 18th in Tokyo. All right, we started to see blossoms. They were at like 15%. Look at it, it's so beautiful during the day. See the pitter-patter of rain, and you can tell how much longer they're going to be lasting by looking at the ground, and you can see if the blossoms are there or not. They are, so they're past 100%. So we started on the 18th. Today is the 26th. So it's been 8 days now the blossoms have been around in Tokyo. And we're past the peak. So I would say another 5 more days that we'll be able to see them, and then it's completely gone. There's a couple that hang on there. In total, about 2 weeks. It's from the time that they first say it blooms, give it 48 hours, then you start to see it in other trees. And then it's about 2 weeks after that, the season is done. And it's abrupt because of what you see right now. And this year has been kind of weird in Tokyo. That doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to see them in Fukushima next week. You are. Wow. In fact, as you all know, Tokyo is not my favorite place to see the cherry blossoms. Let me show you why. I've queued up a little bit here. This is Tottori Prefecture. I took this in 2017 from the original Mavic Pro. Look at those cherry blossoms along the countryside, the river there. Oh, it's so stunning, isn't it? This is a reason why you get out of Tokyo. Look at the green, how lush it is. And then those white blossoms, the dark mountains in the background. I think I got a little bit closer there. There you go. You can walk under the canopy of the blossoms there. Almost nobody around. This is what I'm talking about when I say Tokyo is maybe a little bit overrated. It's possible. Probable. Definitely. And unless you like the parties. The blossoms there, they last about the same amount of time. The reason Tokyo's early is because of maybe the urban heat, maybe getting a little bit more sunshine. There's a lot of things that go into the cherry blossoms actually opening up and the season starting. So I said this year around the 18th we started to see the blossoms in Tokyo. Around the 22nd, 23rd, we started to get closer to 100%, and it really felt like you could go out and party underneath the cherry trees. You get a blue sheet, cherry blossom trees. You get a blue sheet, you can picnic. So about the 22nd, we had good weather for a couple of days, and it's been raining for the last 3. Now, we get to 100% 2 days ago, and you can see the blossoms now are starting to fall off, and they're landing on the ground. So that means we have about 3 days until most of them will be gone. Once it hits 100%, and this is another thing to consider, this is like looking into the macro of it all. Now the tree next to it might bloom at a different rate. So that tree might be 3 days behind this tree or so. There's a boat going by here. So I mean, like it could be weird. One tree could be done and another tree could be. Also, the different varieties of cherry blossoms are quite important. The Some Yoshino are the predominant ones, these white blossoms here. But you can already see the green popping through. And that's pretty significant, meaning the blossoms, if the wind doesn't get them, the rain doesn't get them, this will get it. The green leaves popping through. Hey there, little guy. That horn was that boat going by underneath the bridge. So no matter what, these blossoms don't stand a chance after 2 weeks. I didn't make the rules. I got another video to show you here. My favorite place, again, probably anywhere countryside. I like Fukushima though, and Aomori up there in Hirosaki. There's a place in Mount Fuji. I don't know if the audio is off on this video here. I hope so. Maybe not. So there's a place in Mount Fuji that I really like called Kawaguchiko. And they have an amazing cherry blossoms. That won't be blooming for another week or so. So if you come to Tokyo and there's nothing there, get on a bus. Actually, I think there's a lot of people in that bus though. Or rent a car and you can drive out there and you can see the cherry blossoms with Mount Fuji in the background. It's so beautiful. Don't count on seeing Mount Fuji. There's a good chance that it's going to be behind the clouds. You might get lucky. This is the time of year where you don't see it as much. And then another place that I really like to go to is Yoshinoyama, Mount Yoshino in Nara Prefecture. This has elevation, so you have the blossom starting to bloom lower down, and then it follows up the mountain. And it's filled with, I think it's like 10,000 Sakura tree or something like that, or different varieties. So you got different colors of pink and white and violet and, I don't know, purple, lavender, different shades. It's considered the #1 spot in Japan for the cherry blossoms, Yoshinoyama, but it just looks at what you're looking for. That's the sheer variety. That's the sheer numbers on a mountainside. It's like Sakura Mountain, pretty much. Sakura meaning cherry blossoms in Japanese, as you all know that. But once the cherry blossoms bloom, you have about 10% to 65%. Hey, you get a little bit excited. Once it hits 65%, you have about 3 days till it gets to 100%. Then it holds on for about 4 days, and then you have 3 days after that. So basically, the meat of the cherry blossom season is 10 days. There you go. I said it. You have 10 days, pretty much. 3 days after the start of the cherry blossoms, and then 3 days after the ending, there'll be some lingering, but it's not quite the same. And once there's rain, wind, or the green stuff starts to pop through, it's game over. This is what I'm talking about here. Sadly, the blossoms here are gone. Do you see the petals? All that remains are the holders, the center, but the white petals are gone, and that's a heartbreaking thing to see. Like it was either washed away because they were too heavy, blown away, or you're starting to see the green leaves pop through, and even though these things are not long, sad. At this stage, this particular tree, they're all bloomed. It is 100%, I'd say 105% now. It's past, which is a shame. Let's just look around here. There could be another tree that's at a different bloomage. Is that a word? This one is one of the willow trees, and you can see it is past 100%. You're starting to get the green popping through right now. So this one is done. I give this one another 3 days before these blossoms all start to fall to the ground. We have the flurry, which is going to be pretty cool because the rain is supposed to stop on Tuesday, and that might be the best time to start to get the petal blizzards coming, and that's also a nice time to be under there. So I'd say Tuesday, the weather will be nicer. That might be the last day to get a cherry blossom party going. So if you're coming to Tokyo, you're coming and you're around on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, you should be able to enjoy the cherry blossoms for just a little bit longer. It's so much better with blue skies. What? What is that, like an army of... Are they filming a movie or something? What are they doing? Looks like a squad of superheroes or evil villains hunting Aquaman. I don't think they're gonna win though. You're gonna need something bigger than that to get Aquaman. These would be the minions though. So there you go. All right, we're looking at another tree here. And yeah, this is 105% bloom. You can see the green is starting to come through here. This is gonna boost out the blossoms, but it looks like the rain is gonna get them first. I don't know. Not a lot of the petals have gone to the ground though. Let's look closer. This side gets more sunlight. And all right, this is interesting. So this side of the tree is 105%, and this side of the tree is 95%. Look at this. This is the weirdest thing. These are buds. They're still opening on this side. So I guess this side gets less sun, which is weird. But even within the same tree, you're gonna have different rates of bloom. So this won't be full bloom until it'll pop out tomorrow for sure. And then you have 3 days left. So I'm saying Wednesday will be maybe the last day for full bloom to really enjoy it. So in total, to sum up, 2 weeks you got. From when they announce it, give it 48 hours, then your 2 week starts. Put the timer. 2 weeks later, you're not really gonna see much left. You'll see a little bit. There'll be people like me that are still trying to party. They'll be out there kind of trying to enjoy it, you know, in denial. And then there'll be people like me who will jump into a rental car and drive up to Fukushima and take the Shinkansen and go up to Aomori and try to live 1 or 2 more days amongst the beautiful cherry blossoms of Tokyo. Carrie is here. Carrie writes in here, maybe stick to the golden triangle of Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto. Is that the golden triangle? I think if you're flying into Kansai, you never even have to leave Kansai to come to Tokyo. I think Tokyo is overrated. I say that because I live here, maybe. I see it every day. But if you fly into Kansai, I would highly recommend that you just stick to Kansai if it's your first trip to Japan. Focus in on Kyoto, Osaka. You don't need to come to Tokyo. Unless you really have this strong desire. Akihabara is kind of cool, I guess, but it depends what you're looking for. History, culture, that's all. Kansai's stacked. If you come to Tokyo, there's not too much around here. There's day trips to Hakone, there's day trips to Nikko maybe. You go to Kamakura perhaps, but there's an equivalent or better down in Kansai. The only thing that Tokyo has nearby is maybe Mount Fuji, and right now you can't see it. Nobody can, unless you're in an airplane and you're over the clouds, and then perhaps you can see the peak, and it's snowing, which is kind of cool. Yeah, and Gary Johnson writes in your Shinkansen, you can also see quite a bit of Sakura fly by at like 300 kilometers per hour, Gary. You're gonna need a really fast shutter speed to catch that. That's not gonna be easy. But you can. Oh, wow, on the other side there, they're not even bloomed yet. So as many trees on the other side of this park are like nearing finished, that one there, that whole branch hasn't bloomed yet. Isn't this weird? And this is all the same tree. Look at that. Let me just pan out here. Now you can see. That's crazy. All right, let's go down this hill, which is a dumb move because I could slip and fall. But I'd rather not walk around and waste time. So we have branch variations with the same tree. Check it out. That's crazy, right? Look at the one that's closest to you. It's like 80% bloomed, and then there's a place where it's 95%, and then there's the other side, which they're falling off and the green is coming through. That is so weird. So we have here the temperature and the weather plays a big part. The amount of wind and rain after 100% plays a big part. And then you have just the different ages and variations of the trees. So there's lots of different reasons. And then so when everybody says, oh, I'm gonna miss the cherry blossoms, because I'm getting 100 emails a day about this. Oh, when are the cherry blossoms gonna finish? I'm just assuming that's the voice that you're in. The answer is like, they don't, and they do, and just come. And if you miss it, get a Shinkansen, pass and go somewhere. Stop being a baby. Just blossoms. I only say that because I'm here and you're not. I completely understand. Ugh. All right, we're gonna go underneath the river here. Look on the other side. The riversides are usually the best places to see the cherry blossoms. I'll be honest with you. I think it has to do with the fact that they just planted more along there and people live down near the river. But you'll find them all over the place. If you go to Tohoku, you could be hiking one day on a trail, nobody's around, boom, cherry blossom tree. What? It's so beautiful. You just stop for a second saying, what are you doing out here? Just happened. Some samurai probably planted it 100 years ago. There's cherry blossom trees that are over 1,000 years old around Japan. A lot of them have historical documentation to prove it. Or some scientists like carbon dated it, I don't know. Oh my gosh, you can't even see the sky tree. It's just the stalk. You see it? All right. So I showed this to you at night. I'm gonna get a quick look-see and then I gotta go back to work. Tony P is here. What do you think the chances are Sakura will still be around when I land April 9th? Pretty good. In Tokyo, pretty bad. In Fukushima, pretty good. Does that answer your question? There might be some varieties of the cherry blossoms that are around, so I mean, it just depends. I can't predict the nature, but I'd say. Hmm?
Are you testing now?
Oh yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen your channel.
Oh, thank you.
It's Sakura season.
Yeah, it is. This is a nice place.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for saying hi. Oh, that's nice. He was literally watching the broadcast right now. How cool is that? Japan's not the only place with Sakura. It's also in a lot of places around the world. I just think that Japan is insane with the blossoms in a good way. I mean, it's really everywhere, and that gives you a good feeling in spring when you see so many of them. Usually you'll see one or two dotting a place. Here they've planted thousands. There's places with 1,000 cherry blossoms on a river in fact, my map, my Google map is just dotted with stars of places that I want to visit up in Fukushima. Rivers, and they call them like sembon, like 1,000 trees are there. Let's go up. Take a look at the trees on this side that maybe got different lighting. Tokyo, and Tony, this is good news for you. Tokyo is always too early. So it's really easy to predict that by April 1st or 2nd, there's, I'd say, like an 85% chance there's not going to be any cherry blossoms around. And it's been like that for a long time. Just they come out a little bit too early. Wow. Wow. So I was here not too long ago, and I did not see as many as I do now, but you are seeing on the ground a lot more here. So that's an indication that we don't have that much time. Ueno Park and the places there, a little bit warmer. I think that they're going to be done by Wednesday. But there'll be places where you still might get it until Friday. But as we're seeing, like, each tree is different. There's some trees that aren't fully bloomed yet. And then here we got the blossoms that are starting to fall off, and you just see the stems on there. And if you look down on the ground, you start to see the petals, and that's the indicator. And by Wednesday, this whole thing will be white with petals. And it's one of the most amazing sights. In the fall, everywhere in the world, well, that has fall. I'm talking to you, Singapore. Everybody, you have autumn leaves all over the place, and you have red and yellow and orange. It's kind of neat. In Japan, in spring, you have the ground covered in white, and that's such a cool sight to me. Let's take a look here. Oh, there's a karaoke boat. They're doing some singing in there, I can hear. You can see here the petals are starting to come off. The green is sprouting out of this particular branch. So it'll be 2 or 3 days, and the rest of the trees will follow suit, and then you got 4 days after that. So let's just say right now, I'd say this is the peak or a day after the peak. which is good because these rains are supposed to go on for one more day. There's a good chance they'll hang on a little bit longer. Then we've got the wind to talk about. That's a faster moving boat. Oh, that's one of those eating boats. They have okonomiyaki, teppanyaki grills in there. Very cool. We got a question from Mac here. Guys, is car rental an easy process for a foreigner in Japan? If you have an international driver's license, it is. If you are living in Japan, you cannot use an international driver's license after the first year. You have to get a Japanese driver's license. If the police catch you, you will be in deep doo-doo or have to pay a pretty large fine. You have to get out of the car and you're gonna have to get a taxi wherever they catch you. It's kind of a pain in the neck. So yeah, after a year, you can't have an international driver's license. If you live in Japan, you got a grace period of a year, and you have to change it over to a Japanese license, or you have to go to school. But sometimes learning is kind of fun. You can make new friends at the school. If you haven't yet, you can grab a postcard. That is from the postcard club. I just sent them out. Wow, it was like 10 days ago now. It's not just. They should have arrived by now if you are part of the postcard club, and I will happily send you one right away if you join the postcard club. It's cool. Next month might be a really prominent Sakura tree. I'm not sure. I always try to find really nice landscapes, something you'd want to put on your refrigerator, something that makes you think about Japan. It's got a neat, nifty stamp on it. Always try to find the best, most colorful ones that tell a story and some information about the location so you can prepare for a trip over there. This one is the Tateyama Kurobe Alpine Route in Toyama Prefecture. It's a really neat place to go where the snow walls can be as high as, what is it, like 65 feet, 20 to 22 meters high. And that was this month's postcard. Gary got his card. Thanks, Gary. Yeah. If it weren't raining, it would be a really nice day, but it is raining. You can see there's some sakura on the other side. Just one tree or two trees. Local residents see that tree just for 2 weeks looking like this. It's really pretty. Tony writes in here, he's going to rent a car to get to Daikoku, the famous car meetup place in Tokyo. I am kind of nervous about driving. Tony, I'm talking directly to you, my friend. That is initiation by fire to start to drive from Tokyo. My advice, if you're nervous, that's good. That's good. It's pretty hardcore to drive in Tokyo. I would rent a car outside of Tokyo maybe, and then get like half a day driving, especially if you're not used to driving on the other side of the road. And then maybe you're gonna be okay. You shouldn't worry too much. But yeah, nerves are good. If you're nervous, that's a good sign. That means you'll be really focused on the road, right? It's a pretty little scene here. Yes, Joy, I share that sentiment. Good luck, Tony. Make sure you know the rules. International driver's license is kind of a cheat because you don't know the rules. There's a handbook that you can buy on Amazon in the US. It's got a manga character on it, I believe, and it tells you the what is it called? The rules of the road or something. Get that. Just go over it once or twice so you're somewhat familiar with it. And then it's like riding a bicycle, but you know, it's a car. Wow, we're starting to see the petals now on the ground. This is what I'm talking about. This area, this tree is a little bit earlier. Look at how many there are. Wow. Even the bush is getting litter all over it. Look at that. That tree is littering on the bush. Blossom snowfall. We're gonna have the blossom blizzard coming soon. I'm gonna walk down here past the Tori Gate and show you some young trees before we cut off. My bicycle's over in this direction. There's one of these weeping willow looking Sakura trees here. This one is past 100%. The green is starting to pop on through some of the branches. It's gonna look really nice, this tree, when it's green, but it's got that beautiful pink blossom. There's a green sprout coming out on the left side. Rain is starting to come down a little bit stronger now. One chilled dude is here. Welcome. It's nice to see. I'm real happy you guys are here. This is just sort of I got to take a break from the computer screen and get outside despite the rain. This is a cooler area. You can see it's shielded more. It's off of the river. Less sunshine. There's a building here. And this tree is not fully bloomed. It's not even close. We have some trees that are 105%, 105%. They're way past it. The green is starting to come through. This one, there's still buds. So again, even in Tokyo, you can have trees that are finished and trees that are just starting. Or trees that are like 85%, like this one. This one is gonna be amazing on Monday, tomorrow and the next day. Monday, Tuesday, this one's gonna be so beautiful. I gotta come back and get some shots of it. That's weird, that branch, and then here you've got the green popping out by the center. Just it's different trees, different branches have different times that they bloom. There's no consistency at all, is there? Oh, hey! No! Wrong side of the wall. Can't even see it now. All right, I was just here a couple of days ago, so I don't need to show you the secret shrine, do I? I don't need to do that. I think you guys remember where that is. Just look at the last live stream, the midnight cherry blossom viewing. It's one of my favorite things to do at night. This is maybe my favorite Sakura tree at night, in this area anyways. And you can see with the dark sky, this is just, I think, 36 hours ago. They've really come alive with a light at night. So if you are staying in Japan, get out of your hotel room after everyone's gone home and you have your own special session to walk around the town and walk around the area and look at the trees in a different light, because it does make a big difference in taking photos of it. I like this one because of the stairs and the way it goes over the stairs. To wash the lens off there. Yeah, it might be a little bit scary, but it's it's Japan. It's a residential neighborhood. Nothing's gonna happen to you there, that I know of. It's pretty. This looks like the final scene from The Exorcist minus the cherry blossoms. Let's keep that to ourselves. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. I hope that this was informational. I hope answering the question, not just when they're gonna bloom, but how long they're gonna bloom. When you see the date, give it 2 weeks, and then you can just assume that it's over. You're gonna have to jump on the Shinkansen, and you're gonna have to make your way north to see them, or sometimes into the mountains to see them. Because around Golden Week, a month later, that's when Nagano's mountains start to bloom, which is really interesting. Like around Golden Week. So more than a month later, there's elevation. That's when they start to bloom. That's why people get hiking and they go and you can see the cherry blossoms from above, and it really is beautiful. Here's some blossoms over here before we cut off for the end of the stream. We could do that with the blossoms here. Wow. These are hanging on. Look, you can tell, look on the ground, there's very few white petals, so I think it's gonna be okay until tomorrow. All right, everybody, see you later. Thanks for watching from a very wet, rainy, chilly Tokyo. I'll see you again tomorrow.